Well, these are the protesting wrestlers here at Jantar Mantar, and you can see in these visuals that this is the march the wrestlers were talking about from the last 1 week. And today, the police tried to pacify them. The police tried to put across a word that today they have to maintain peace, but the wrestlers are refusing to budge. In fact, these are the visuals on your screens of wrestlers trying to march towards the newly inaugurated Parliament building. And in fact, there is some sort of a scuffle between the police officials and protesting wrestlers over here at Jantar Mantar. These protests were on from a very long time, and the wrestlers were continuously demanding only one thing, that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who is the WFI chief, should be arrested. In fact, you can see in the visuals Sakshi Malik coming out and in fact crossing the barricades and trying to move towards the new Parliament building, and in fact police has continuously maintained that. And in fact, this is Sakshi Malik, you can see in the visuals, trying to walk towards and in fact run towards the Parliament building. In fact, these are some dramatic visuals over here. In fact, barricades being broken. So this is a current situation. In fact, there is a heavy police deployment also over here, but it seems that wrestlers are refusing to budge. And in fact, Sakshi Malik, see, you can see over here that all the wrestlers, and in fact there is a heavy scuffle between the police officials and Sakshi Malik, but Sakshi Malik seems relentless in walking, and in fact she continues to walk towards the new Parliament building. And in fact, these are the dramatic visuals coming in here from the national capital. You can see Sakshi Malik is being detained by the police officials. Police officials are taking hold of protesters, wrestlers over here, protesting wrestlers over here. Sakshi, क्या कहेंगे साक्षी? साक्षी, आपको यहाँ से जाने नहीं दिया जा रहा, क्या बोलेंगे? Well, you can see Sakshi Malik over here, and in fact the protesters who are trying to run away from towards the Sansad Marg. In fact, you can see Sakshi Malik in fact trying to run towards and in fact to go towards the new Parliament building which they were talking about. The wrestlers are refusing to stay put wherever they are, and in fact all the main faces of this protest, including Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Phogat, are all out on the streets. And in fact what they've been saying, that they will not budge, and in fact they will do their march in front of the new Parliament building. Right now these are the visuals of scuffle between the protesters and the police officials. Well, there is absolute pandemonium over here at Jantar Mantar, and in fact you can see these are the protesting wrestlers who were actually trying to move towards the newly constructed Parliament building. But in fact here absolute ruckus broke out after they were denied permission to walk towards the newly constructed Parliament. Here you can see the police is trying to put back they're trying to put back the barricades over here, but wrestlers are absolutely not ready to budge. In fact, what they're doing right now, there is absolute pandemonium, and in fact there is some sort of scuffle between protesting wrestlers and in fact the police officials. Here you can see Bajrang Punia trying to move towards, but in fact he is also not being allowed to move towards new Parliament building. He is consistently holding the Tiranga in his hand. Bajrang, क्या बोलेंगे? Bajrang, well, you can see this is the situation over here, absolutely tense, where in fact special CP was also here, areas DCP is also here, ACP level officials, in fact RAF officials are also deployed in very large numbers over here.
देश के लिए लड़ते हैं, देश के लिए लड़ते हैं, तिरंगे के लिए लड़ते हैं, ये रहा, ठीक है ना? करो गोली मारो, गोली मारो, हमें गोली मार दो, हमें गोली मार दो।
तो हम दे नहीं सकते।
घर में जिसके बैंड मिट्टी हो, गोली मार दो। हम सांसद को कर रहे हैं, पुलिस प्रशासन हमारे साथ जबरदस्ती कर रही है, पुलिस प्रशासन हमारे साथ जबरदस्ती कर रही है।
Well, this is what Bajrang Punia has to say. In fact, he also alleges that he has been mishandled and manhandled by the police officials over here. You can see the continuous deployment is increasing over here of police officials, and not only that, the wrestlers were not in very huge number. In fact, they had given a call for a women's panchayat here in the national capital, but owing to the security reasons, all the Khap panchayats were asked to stop at the border areas, either be it from Haryana border or from the Uttar Pradesh border, which is reaching national capital. And this drama doesn't seem to end, because on the one hand, the authorities and the police officials are saying that today is in fact, well, you can see this is the continuous chaos which is playing out on your screens right now, where Bajrang Punia is making all the efforts to actually break this level of barricading and to move towards, and in fact you can see wrestlers being detained over here. These are the wrestlers who've been protesting over here for a very long time, and now today this call was given by these wrestlers to march towards the new parliament building, and in fact they had maintained that whatever they will be doing today will be peaceful. But the situation turned out to be totally different. In fact, the police tried to pacify these wrestling protesters, but it doesn't seem to be working in the favor of police officials. And we saw all the faces of these wrestlers protest, be it Bajrang Punia, Sangeeta Phogat, Vinesh Phogat, Sakshi Malik, actually jumping the barricades and coming out and in fact marching and in fact trying to move towards this very road, which actually in turns lead to the new parliament building. So right now the police officials, what they are trying to do, they are trying to take control of the situation. They're trying to pacify the wrestlers and the protesters, but it doesn't seem to happening that these wrestlers are being allowed to in fact move towards that very place. Right now this is Kerala House, in fact just some few meters away from the Jantar Mantar, the epicenter where this entire protest began, and in fact still the protest is going on. In fact, it's been over a month now since these protests have started.
21 तारीख को क्या अनाउंसमेंट हुआ था? क्या अनाउंसमेंट हुआ था? देश की संसद के सामने हमारी पंचायत है, महिला सम्मान महापंचायत। हमारे लोग अंदर नहीं आने दिए जा रहे, हमें जेल में डाल दिया गया है। ब्रजभूषण तो पार्लियामेंट में बैठा है और हम यहाँ जेल में बैठे हैं। अभी क्या करेगा? आगे नहीं छोड़ेगा। आप लोगों को जबरदस्ती भी पकड़ा जा रहा था, अभी देख रहे थे हम लोग वीडियो देख रहे थे। हमने हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट किया कि सर हमें जाने दो, हम शांतिपूर्वक जाएंगे। हमने कैंडल मार्च भी किया था। आपको कोई शिकायत मिली? नहीं मिली ना, तो हम इसी शांति में जाना चाहते थे बस। हमारे पास चिट्ठी है, लेकिन वो लोग नहीं करना चाहते तो वही नहीं करे। और कोई बैरिकेड टूटा नहीं है, गिरने से बैरिकेड टूटते नहीं है। इतनी पब्लिक है, नहीं कंट्रोल कर सकते। शांतिपूर्वक आए, किसी को नहीं पूछा, कोई सामान बीच में रखा, थोड़ा बहुत हो जाता है। इतनी भीड़ को आप भी खुद, आप लोग खुद मार देते हो कुछ लोगों तक का। आप लोग सामने चलते, आप लोगों ने बैरिकेड डाल दी हो नीचे। इतनी भीड़ है, बैरिकेड तो गिर सकते हैं। बैरिकेड कोई दीवार नहीं है जो
साक्षी नहीं दिख रही है। हमारे देश में सांसद बहुत है। ओलंपिक मैच में पूछना चाहता हूँ मीडिया के माध्यम से, कितने लोग हैं? क्या पुलिस को साक्षी ने उठा लिया है? साक्षी को उठा लिया है पुलिस प्रशासन ने, डिटेन कर लिया साक्षी को। ऊपर से उसको पद्मश्री भी दे रखा है, पद्मश्री की भी गरिमा नहीं रखी लोगों ने। भारत रत्न दे रखा है, उसकी गरिमा नहीं रखी। जो मेडल मिले हैं, जो मेडल मिले, जो अवार्ड मिले, उनकी भी गरिमा नहीं रख रहे ये लोग।
In fact, now what they are doing is they were trying to conduct their Mahapanchayat over here near Jantar Mantar only, and in fact this is the very road which actually goes towards the main road, and in fact here only they were protesting. But now you can see that these these protesters are being detained, and in fact police, what the police had maintained is that they will detain everyone from here, because as promised by wrestlers, what happened over here was not peaceful, and this is the situation of absolute pandemonium over here in the national capital, and in fact in Jantar Mantar. Since morning, continuous announcements were made by the wrestlers, and in fact they called for a peaceful protest, where they said that no untoward situation will arise. But right now you can see there is absolute scuffle between the police officials and the wrestling and the protesting wrestlers. In fact, In fact, Bajrang Punia, when he was talking to media, had said that Sakshi Malik has already been detained by the Delhi police officials, and now detention is on for the other wrestlers over here. In fact, all the big names of this wrestling protest, including Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Phogat and Sangeeta Phogat, all are being detained. As what we are given to understand, Sakshi Malik has already been detained, which is what Bajrang Punia told media. And now on your screens are these dramatic visuals where the police officials are taking all the protesting wrestlers with them, because they say that 144 section is in place at this place, so that it is not allowed to gather and protest at this very point. In fact, DCP of the area is also here, Pranav Tayal, and in fact, Special CP sometime back was also here to take stock of the situation, when actually what happened is the police also tried to pacify the protester, asking them not to protest. And in fact, you can see in this visuals, all the wrestlers are being detained and taken away. In fact, you can see in the visuals right now what is happening is that Vinesh Phogat is being detained by Delhi police, and they are trying all out and they are trying to resist this very detention by the Delhi police officials. On the other hand, you can also see that other wrestlers are also protesting over here. In fact, you can see Sangeeta Phogat is also being detained. In fact, so what we can tell you that all the wrestlers who were protesting and who tried to cross the barricading from this very point they have been detained by the police officials over here. And in fact, this is what the police had maintained. In fact, there is a huge deployment of police, and now they are making way for this vehicle which is being they are making way for the vehicle which is being in which all these wrestlers, protesting wrestlers, in fact, are being taken. This is the very arrangement by the Delhi police officials. You can see media presence over here in very large numbers, including the police officials are also here. But in fact, wrestlers had given an ultimatum that today is the day when they will be protesting in front of the newly inaugurated Parliament building. But all their efforts seems to be shattering right now, because what happened is they were trying to move towards the new Parliament building, but in fact they tried to break certain barricades and they tried to move towards the new Parliament building, but they were actually in fact unsuccessful in it. And in fact, these are the wrestling protesters who've been asked to, and in fact, this is the word which is continuously coming in from these protesting wrestlers. They've been saying that their demand is only one, that Brij Bhushan Sharan should be arrested. And in fact, you can see in these visuals that these wrestlers are being taken by the police officials.